The position of the Wobblies changed dramatically over the course of World War I. While the AFL firmly allied itself with the government of the United States, the Wobblies identified more with the international working class, workers from around the world. And of course, the character of that identification changed dramatically after the Russian Revolution in 1917. It's a very different thing to identify as a global citizen of the proletariat when there is no communist country. And yet, after the Bolshevik Revolution, the Wobblies began to be seen very differently. In 1919, after the end of the war, there were a succession of very radical strikes. There was the Great Steel Strike of 1919, led by William Z. Foster, in a last-ditch attempt to truly unionize all of the steel industry. In Seattle, there was a radical general strike that started with the dock workers, shutting down every industry in the city. And then, in the only case that I know of a truly syndicalist general strike, were reopened under the auspices of the Central Labor Union. Needless to say, the Army with machine guns went back in just a few days later and reconquered Seattle. So, in the aftermath of this, there is also a widespread fear that these radicals are not going to confine themselves to simple strikes and workplace events, but in fact overthrow the government, just like the Bolsheviks had done in Russia. It seems crazy to us today, but of course at the time it was a very real possibility. This fear of Bolshevism, this Red Scare, led to an extreme tightening down on radicalism, which was still seen as ethnic radicalism in 1919. As part and parcel of this polyglot nature of the workers, Americans began to think of these ethnics as radicals themselves and began to think that perhaps the policy of open immigration had gone too far. By 1924, the Reed-Johnson Acts restricted immigration for basically most of the 20th century until 1965, such that all the people who were coming in, making a diverse polyglot nation, were no longer welcome. And in fact, many of the radicals of the IWW were deported to Russia.